I like to say I train dick assassins, okay? I'm training you to run a marathon with riding dick if you want to. So if you want to be up there for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're going to have the stamina to do that. But I'm training you to snatch his soul in 3 minutes, okay?
Oh my God, I love that. Welcome to Honey Do Me, a podcast that goes into the bedroom and beyond, hosted by Emma Norman
and Cass Anderson. Here at Honey Do Me, we don't have all the answers, so we chat with experts, educators, and badass changemakers to get them.
We are here to remind our listeners and ourselves that what we're going through is normal, that we are worthy of love and pleasure,
and that we are all in this together. So tell us, honey, how do you do you?
Sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. 'Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Howdy. Howdy, honey.
Howdy, honey. So, Cowgirl.
Cowgirl is what we're talking about today. And for those of you that don't know what cowgirl is, it is a sexual position when one person lays down, typically, and then the other person goes on top and rides them like a horse.
So, two things. I love the accent that
It was an accident.
You know, that
It just came naturally.
and ride it like a horse. You know, I think that's no better way to describe this adult horse camp that we're about to embark on. No.
So you could say this is somewhat of an adult horse camp. And for those of you that don't know, which how would you? I've been going to horse camp, the real kind, since I was a little girl.
Do you still go? You
You
said you've been going.
I
So Cass is a passionate connoisseur of horse camps. She actually leads her own camp. She's camp counselor Cass.
of sexual horse camp. And we don't mean that in a bestiality
Oh
way.
my God.
We highly,
So,
highly disapprove of
You
bestiality.
used to go to horse camp.
I used to go to horse camp, as we all do, right?
I mean, I've been there, yeah.
If you haven't, you should probably stop listening because we're clearly not your people. But yeah, it was a really great time. A girl got kicked in the tummy after she tried to touch the horse that I had been riding all week.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch.
Bitch.
Still tried to ride him after that, and he rubbed her up against a fence, and she got splinters all up and down her leg. And so, Peppy, this one's for you.
There you go.
You're my guy.
You guys sound like soulmates.
We are, in many ways.
You and
Yeah.
Peppy. I hope he's still around somewhere.
Probably not. That was a long time ago. But horses live a long time.
Horses do live a long
So,
time.
Peppy, if you're listening, hit me up.
Hit me up. Hit me up, Pep. Well,
I'd
anyway.
love to ride in a very different way than what we're talking about
Oh my
in
God.
this episode.
Mixing these two is just...
No, I'm not mixing it. I'm putting a very clear distinction.
Bestiality is
Is
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
Because animals can't consent ever. And so anybody who thinks it's right, absolutely turn this off because I don't want you
I don't want
anywhere
Peppy to hear
near
this.
my podcast. Anywhere near it. So if you think bestiality is okay, go home
Okay.
and then report yourself to the police.
We got it. FYI, PSA, no
Cass
bestiality.
loves animals.
So let's talk about who we're having on today.
We have the amazing Tyomi Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
She is a true expert when it comes to all things cowgirl. And just a little PSA, this is not just for hetero couples, and we get into that in the episode. So.
Absolutely. So when we first started talking with Tyomi, we all agreed to have a little happy hour jam. So we poured
A little
ourselves...
11 a.m.
Yeah.
on a Friday happy
It was.
hour jam.
It
Granted,
was.
I think she's in a different time zone, so
Yeah.
it's later for her, worse for us.
But I had a mason jar full of a Bloody Mary.
We call that a Bertha Bloody Mary.
We call that a Bertha Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And so we all poured up some drinks and got riding on Cowgirl.
Yeah, we did.
So you guys are going to absolutely fucking love this episode.
We ask the questions you want to know. And yeah, we ask questions about buttholes because that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, it comes up.
Yeah, and we give solutions. So,
Yeah, there you go. So enjoy this episode and we will see you on the other side.
cowgirl. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Welcome to Honey Do Me,
Yeah.
where everything is so smooth.
Yeah.
We'll just have you start out by introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about what you do, your journey, how you got to where you are.
Oh gosh. Well, my name is Tyomi. People online know me as Glamazon Tyomi. I am the founder of the sex education blog, glamorerotica101.com. And I am a certified sexologist, an authentic tantra practitioner. I'm also a pleasure coach and a sensual fitness coach. The founder of the Cowgirl Workout, the only workout in the world that teaches you how to ride dick and build your stamina.
Yes.
And I'm
So cool.
also the in-house sexpert for the intimacy brand Sweet Vibes, one of my favorite brands out there because they have a forever warranty. So if anything ever happens to your toys, you just hit them up, pay the shipping, and they ship it right back to you. So it's like super, super awesome to represent them in press and media as their sexpert. And I like to say that I am kind of like, I have my hands in a lot of different things in the sexual health realm. I'm also like an advocate for the adult industry and an adult content creator. But I've been doing this work for 10 years. So I feel like I have my stamp all over the place. Mm-hmm. That was like my goal, was to be as visible as possible, because I didn't really see Black women at the time. And when I started, it was back in 2011. So at that time, I didn't really see a lot of women who looked like me speaking about sex and like doing it in a way that felt informative and like it was your homegirl. You know, I didn't want to necessarily feel like a doctor. I didn't want to feel like I was too clinical, but still wanted to bring the facts. And so that's why I jumped in to just be a source for Black women to feel empowered in their sexuality, and for anybody for that matter who wants, who resonates with my voice. But it's really important for me to like place forward that like, yes, I'm here for Black women, and creating safe space for us. And I have absolutely loved every moment of my journey. I feel like I'm just beginning though. And just so many shifts and changes happening right now for my brand and just like planning for the next 10 years. So I'm just super excited to be here with you ladies and the Honeydew crew and, you know, to chat it up. Because you guys encouraged me to drink on a Friday.
Hell yeah. We can cheers to that right now.
That's something, that's a talent of ours.
Mm-hmm.
We'll always encourage drinking. I love everything you said. I think we are huge fans of authentic sexuality education and just like real, honest fun, because it should be fun. It's sex.
And approachable and like
Yes.
non-threatening. Not like people are coming at you with weapons,
Hopefully.
but it can be really scary. Especially, you just want the knowledge and you want it to be approachable and you want to feel like you're not wrong for seeking it out. So more people creating that type of environment is primo.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss on that one. Well, I want to dig more into the Cowgirl Workout class. So can you tell us a little bit about that and your master classes that you have?
Absolutely. You know, and I'm so happy that more people are asking me about it, because this has been like my bread and butter and my baby since I created videos on YouTube back in 2014, 15. And these videos have gone viral. Like, when somebody wants to give an instruction on how to ride, I see my video pop up and I'm like, this is great. Because before my video, I didn't see any content out there. I didn't see any written content, not a book, not a course, not a workout, not a YouTube video about how to ride dick. And I was getting a lot of inquiries from women all around the world. So this is not like an American woman thing. This is not a Black woman or a white woman thing. It's a woman thing. You know, if you are a cisgendered woman and you love dick, whether it's, you know, natural or it's, you know, store-bought dick, you know, this is not an easy thing to do. And so I got inspired to teach women because I was once highly embarrassed by being asked to get on top. And I literally had just like, you know, lost my V card. And I started having sex with partners, and this was like the third partner. And up until that point, I hadn't been asked to get on top, and then he asks me to do it. And I had to like wave the flag, like, hey, sir, excuse me.
All right, I'm out.
Right. I was like, I'm just coming into this thing. I'm just starting to have sex with partners, so I don't know what I'm doing. And he was just like, oh, just try. I'm like, oh, just try. Okay. So I get up there, and I'm doing the whole scoop boot thing, you know what I'm saying? And I could tell he was not impressed or enthused, and I was not either. I just felt super embarrassed. And so he's just like, you know what, let's just do doggy style. And as he has me in doggy style, I'm sitting there being penetrated. I'm like thinking, this is embarrassing. Like, I will not be bested by this position ever again. Okay, making a vow right now. And so literally, like, after that, because my mind does not shut down during sex. I have to actually actively breathe through it and then do like tantra to make sure I'm present, right? So like it's a lot better now that I'm older, but when I was younger, it was just really going off. And so I just made a vow. I was like, I never want a sex position or any sexual technique to get the best of me or to be the reason why my relationships fail. There's other things I have to work on for why relationships fail, but I didn't want sex.
Sex will not
But
be
it
the
will
thing.
not be
No.
this.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, this is so simple. It's just mechanics. You know what I mean? And of course, there's things you have to move beyond in your mentality and, you know, with scripts and programs and stuff like that. But I was like, no, I'm going to master the science of this thing. And so I started studying one of my favorite adult film stars. She's retired now, but her name is Roxy Reynolds, because I felt like her stroke game was on point. I was like, yo, I want to ride dick like this. And so I studied her, and then I started breaking down the mechanics like, what body parts are being utilized when you do this? And then how can I break this down and explain it to women? And so I created that video on YouTube, and a lot of women learned from it and were like, thank you so much. This is a godsend. But then I had another group of women who were just like, hey, Tyomi, great video. I love it. Still need help. Still don't know what I'm doing. And a friend of mine was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to book you to teach a cowgirl class in Chicago. Cause she, her name is Kat, and she has a business called the Meow University in Chicago. And she hosts adult sex education classes throughout the year. And so she's like, I'm going to book you for this. And so, it was like a leap for me because the first show I ever did was in Denver at a male review. I was dating a guy at the time who was an exotic dancer, and he wanted to support me. And he's like, I want you to teach a cowgirl class at my show because there's going to be a lot of ladies there. And I was so nervous, you guys. Like, I've never told this story. I was so nervous because I had a lot going on emotionally at that point, but this was my first time being like flued out to do like this thing. And I get up there and it's all these ladies and I'm like, they're not here to see me. They're here to see dick. And so to like ease the anxiety of that, I was like, okay, ladies, I know you're here to see dick and it's going to come out soon, but I want to teach you what to do with the dick, you know, afterwards, if you feel so inclined to. So I know I'm not here to like tell you you're doing anything wrong. I'm just here to give you some more tips in case this is something you've been struggling with. And so I always start that way because I never want any woman to believe that I'm saying she's doing something wrong. I just want to give her tips on how to be better. And just assuming, like not assuming that people are coming in completely green, like not knowing what's going on. And so that went over very well. It was like standing applause. Like it was great. And then it turned into a whole tour around the country where women from all over the United States were just like, so can you come here? Can you come here? And a friend of mine offered to drive me around the country. And so we literally were in a Buick driving from coast to coast.
Oh my God.
East Coast, down south to Chicago, to California and back. It was great. I was like literally seeing this country up and down, side to side because we did that. And it was the most like empowering thing for me. And just to see how women have like shifted. And so this has turned into like one of the things that brings me the most joy because I'm encouraging women to get moving. Like movement has been so powerful for me in my life and me connecting with my body. And so many women come to me and just tell me how they're disconnected, you know, and I'm like, look, we just got to get you moving. We just got to get your hips going. And a lot of women have issues with their hips, you know, either they're like off kilter or they had like pelvic injuries or knee injuries or whatever. And so I decided to create a workout because I'm like, look, I showed you the moves on YouTube, but there's no way you can master those moves if you don't get moving. So I tell my clients all the time, listen, we have to work out. There's no way around it, but I'm going to make it fun for us. And so I've combined twerk and yoga and sensual movement and strength training into a program that helps to build stamina and flexibility and just improving your stroke in general. And so with the class that I teach, it's part seminar, part movement. So the first part, in the first hour, I'm going over all the common questions, the do's and don'ts, different positions, the different strokes that I've pinpointed that women can use or vulva owners can use when riding dick. And then also just taking any questions that they may have And then I go into breaking down the actual moves that help them to build muscle memory so that their body can remember how to move when they get on top, and then also adjusting things for different body types and body sizes. So a lot of my clients are larger women, and I appreciate that because they are the ones that feel like they can't get on top. And I'm like, sis, look, if he dies, he dies. Okay. He wants you up there. He wants you up there. So let's give him what he wants. And I like to say I train dick assassins. Okay. I'm training you to run a marathon with riding dick if you want to. So if you want to be up there for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're going to have the stamina to do that. But I'm training you to snatch his soul in 3 minutes. Okay.
Oh my God, I love that. That's amazing. That's so fucking awesome.
It pretty much turned into a community now. Like with COVID, I was on a world tour. So I had 28 dates, right? And I was on my way to Kenya for a sold out show, like 70 women who were waiting for me in Nairobi. And then literally on the day before I was flying out, everything shut down. And I had to make a quick decision. I was like, am I going to just like let this tour go by the wayside, or am I going to still do it? And so I just moved it all online because I've done it before, and it's still sold out. And so I showed up for all 28 dates, and I even expanded it because I was like, these women need more support than just this one master class. Right. And so I turned it into a 5-day-a-week program where they could join me live for an hour and get their practice in. And now it is an entire tribe called the Cowgirl Workout. And so it's like a social media network. We have a sister circle. I mean, it's really interactive. And then all of the live workouts that we do are uploaded to that community. I'm just really proud of what I've created because our community is small right now, but it's like growing every day. Mm-hmm. And I just love showing up for women and just encouraging them to be their best selves, especially through movement. So that's the Cowgirl Workout, the 3 pillars: strength training, flexibility, building stamina.
That was just incredible. I love that so freaking much. And I want to be a part of it. I want to take that would be so fun. I just love that you focus on so much. Like, it's much more than just the actual position. There's so many things that go into that position. And yes. I love where you started, like with your story about like feeling really uncomfortable, like during sex initially, because when I was thinking about these questions, that's exactly where my insecurity started, which was like with my second partner, getting into a position that I'd never done before. Cause like with your first partner, you don't try much. You're pretty much on your back the whole time. And so the first time trying a new position, I was so uncomfortable, so self-conscious. And I was like, I swear to God, I'm doing this wrong. And like to this day, I cringe when I think about how awkward I probably was moving. Like it's just too much to think about. So I love that that's where you started and you're like, fuck that. I'm going to destroy this and be a powerhouse and like be a dick assassin after. And yes, I love it so much.
That's what I wanted because I was like, men are having all the fun in sex and what am I doing? Like I'm just sitting here taking it. I don't want to take it. I want to be active. I want to like take control too. I'm a pretty dominant woman, like in my everyday life, and I do like to take control. And so I don't just want to be passive the whole time, like, okay, flip over, all right. I mean, that's cool, but not every time.
Right.
And I just didn't want sex to be that thing that was causing a wedge in relationships because I'm like, I have the willingness to move through all this other emotional stuff and, connection stuff, but like I got to master sex. And 2, I wasn't even just doing it for me because I had this innate knowing that eventually I would pass on this knowledge to other women because I was like, look, once I master this, everybody needs to know.
This is your legacy.
Yeah, 100%. Like, no, I watched a couple of your videos and I'm like, this is so thorough and just like right there for you to like practice while you're doing it. I love that you have a partner to do it on. It's not just like a pillow too. So you can like really get like the body movements down. So definitely go watch those videos. Oh my God, they're so amazing.
I also love because, it's a workout and we've been having conversations about like motivation for workouts because a lot of it can be pretty toxic and like, to change your body or all of that kind of stuff. And so I love that in this scenario, great sex is such a good fucking motivator. Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm. It is. Because I tell my ladies all the time, I'm like, listen, yes, the motivation is to ride dick better, like to feel more pleasure, to receive more orgasms, to be more embodied. Mm-hmm. But I always remind them, I'm like, this is about you becoming better for yourself first. It's not for your partner. And I'm like, listen, this workout, you're going to shape up and you may drop some pounds, but that's not my main goal for you. My main goal is for you just to feel embodied and confident no matter what size you are. Because you're right. A lot of workout programs do feel quite toxic where it's so heavily focused on shaping up to look a certain way or building this part of your body and lessening this part. And I'm just like, hey, this workout is designed to like shape you up slowly and slowly if you're like really hitting it. And some women have like lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
One of my clients, she's lost like 7 sizes. She said, Tyomi, I'm looking in the mirror, my hips and my booty are just like popping out now, like wow. And so that is what brings me so much joy. It's just hearing all of their improvements and knowing that I wasn't forcing it, you know, even with telling them like, hey, come join the tribe and you can stay here as long as you want. And if you decide that, hey, maybe this isn't for you and you want to, you know, leave, that's okay too. You can do that at any time. It's not like a heavy commitment for you to be here. And there are some women who have admitted recently in our chat, like, I've been here for months, but I haven't done anything. And I'm like, that's okay. Be here as long as you want. We're here to support you. When you come back to this group, you're going to see all the love flowing. You're going to see all of the workouts that are here and available for you. So choose whatever you want. And I think that giving women that type of freedom, especially right now, since we're like locked in and you really can't go to the gym and you really can't do a lot of the things you used to do, like giving them that comfort in their own home to just take control over their own like narrative with their bodies is so essential.
Because people are getting where they want to go. You know, they can have goals to, you know, do whatever with their body. But if they're having fun on the way, like that's what matters. Yeah. And that's what gets people to like stick with something. And movement is so important for so many reasons that if you can find something that you love that makes you feel sexy and that helps you have great sex, like what more could you possibly want?
Totally.
Tell me.
Really? I know. I can't wait. I'm totally going to join because I just want to, one, move because it's just been so long. And two, I feel like that's another way to re-find your like sexuality and like just like for yourself. Just like, oh, I'm a sexy person. Look at me move, you know? And I feel like that's definitely something that I think a lot of people could relate to right now during COVID is kind of losing that. And that's definitely where I'm at. So I'm so excited.
Seconded.
Yes, we are so excited to have you. Like, it's so easy to fall into a routine with COVID, you know, with this like the shut-in, being locked in, just like sitting down all day, like not really wearing clothes or shoes. Like my feet were like, bitch, you're wearing heels? What is this? We don't know what this is anymore, you know?
100%.
So I did want to ask a clarifying question because I feel like a lot of the time when we're talking about cowgirl or riding, we talk about it in terms of like hetero couples. But I want to clarify that this is also for queer couples, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I had a chat on Clubhouse the other day, giving tips on how to ride dick. And one of the ladies from the audience came up and she's queer and she's also a sex expert. And I told her, I said, girl, you better use this on the strap too, you know? And I've coached couples as well in Atlanta, same-sex couples on this too. So, and I also include trans women and trans men if they, you know, if they want to join as well, because this is a position that anybody can do. The only thing that I haven't taught is like riding with the anus because it's just a different body part.
Right.
So when it comes to like men having sex with other men, I don't teach that. I mean, I wonder if there is someone in the world who could teach men how to ride. That would be, I want to see it. I want to watch it. But yes, it definitely is inclusive for queer couples and couples who aren't hetero. So if anyone out there is just like, I wonder if this is for me, even if I don't have a male partner or a partner who has a natural penis, this is for you too. So come through. Like, if you want to master this, again, it's for you. This is for your pleasure. Because so many women come through with this idea of like, I just want to get this right for them. And I'm like, no, like you have control over the stroke. So you get to stroke all your erogenous zones. You get to do it at the speed that you want. And then you get to have that pleasure of like, just being the one in control of the pace of the sex. And that's like a very powerful position to be in. So like this thing is layered. It's a workout, yes, but then the empowerment that I give is so much more than just like, you know how to ride dick now. It's like, no, you know how to advocate for yourself now. You know how to be present with yourself now. You know how to request what you want now, you know? And I just love it. And I will say, ladies, there are babies out here because of this. Because of what I'm a godmother.
You are creating life.
Exactly. And that's what I love about it. So I'm a godmom to like 2 sets of twins and like some other babies out there. So
I fucking love it.
That's amazing.
The power you hold. My God. Okay, I am so excited to get into it. So let's talk about the actual like cowgirl positions. So I feel like there's a few because I know forwards and backwards. But is there more ways that you can work like the cowgirl position?
There's so many ways, and it all depends on how your partner's body is positioned too. Like the traditional like laying down position is so flat that sometimes it's hard for hips to really like move in a way that's comfortable. So if he brings his pelvis up, or if he bends his knees, or if he sits at the back of the bed near the headboard where his pelvis can be at a 90 degree, or your partner's pelvis can be at a 90 degree. Creating the angles with the pelvis is so important. And then any way that you position your partner's legs is literally a different position, because it's going to hit different for you. It's going to feel different for them. And then you can get on your feet. So you can be flat footed, or you can be on your toes in the bed, or you can use the edge of the bed, and you can use a chair, and you can either face your partner in the chair or have your back to them. You can use the couch. You can have one leg up, one leg down. There's so many different positions. And then also it all depends too on your body type, because like some women have large fupas and they're like, my fupa gets in the way. I can't, I can't really penetrate like that. I'm like, well, you might have to go crab style. So crab style is like your hands are behind you and you're pushing forward with your pelvis instead of being, it's the word supine, where like the front of your body is face down.
I think so. It's been a few years. I was in anatomy. I wanted to be a nurse for 5 minutes.
You know what? Let's use
Didn't work out.
Let's use supine. Sure. I don't know. I want to be a nurse for 5 minutes.
Let's do supine.
So like instead of your body being like face down, your the front of your body is facing up, and then your hands are back, like basically holding you up, and then you're pushing towards your partner's pelvis. So that way the belly isn't hanging over, preventing you from being able to penetrate yourself. So it also is a workaround. It's like once I lay out the different positions, then there's different strokes. I've identified at least 8 different strokes that you can use at any time. And I always say you don't have to be a master of all 8. You just need to master one.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by stroke?
Master of one.
I don't know if I don't know.
No, that's a great question.
Love to know.
So I always tell my ladies coming into class, I'm like, listen, I know you think that you're riding dick, but this is not a pony. This is not a merry-go-round. This is not a seesaw or anything like that, okay? You are literally stroking dick. And so I have to reframe this for them so that they understand like that whole scooting thing.
Like babies learning to like go across the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you mean
the
me?
scoot that you did when you were as a baby in a diaper, you know what I mean? Scooting across the floor. It's like the scoot feels good to us and he feels something. It's just not a stroke. So it's like, or your partner, well, if your partner doesn't have a natural penis, and of course they're not feeling like what someone who's a penis owner would feel, a natural penis owner would feel. But in that case, it's like the dick is just doing this.
That doesn't look very erotic.
No, very erotic.
It's just doing that. And the little wiggle scoot thing is cool as like a transition into another position, right? Where you give yourself a little bit of a rest, but it's not effective for actually creating a stimulation for you or for your partner. So the vagina should be coming on and off the penis like that, stroking it. And so I also teach yoni yoga. So I teach women how to connect more deeply with their sacred spaces and strengthen the pelvic floor so that they can consciously squeeze and release. So I always tell my ladies, like, if your hips fail, then internally you should be able to stroke. at the same time, being able to squeeze and release as you come on and off the dick,
Like a squid.
Yes, a squid.
Oh my God.
It's literally a stroke. So you're taking over the stroke from your partner, and now you're in control of it, and you can control how deep you're stroked, whether it's shallow penetration or it's deep penetration, how fast the stroke goes, and all that good stuff. And so once I put it into that perspective, now it's like, oh, I see what I've been doing wrong. Mm-hmm. And so it just shifts things in the minds of my clients, and they're like, okay, I got it now, boom. And then it's just a matter of practicing. So with the different strokes, it's just different ways that you move your hips. And it's all about hip isolation, because with the scoot, it's like you're scooting too because you're sitting all your weight down. Uh-huh. Instead of leveraging your weight and putting some space between your partner's pelvis and your pelvis. You need just a little bit of space. You don't need a bunch. You just need, like, depending on the size of the dick that you're riding, right? Mm-hmm. Either like 1 to 3 inches. So of course, if he has a shorter penis, you want to be closer to the pelvis. If he has a long dick, you want to like give yourself a little bit of room.
Need room to move.
Yeah. Space to breathe.
Just shish kebab up here. Oh my God. Yes.
Okay.
Woo!
I just have to breathe. Let me be.
I'm sorry. So this squid-like movement that Cass was referring to, is that kind of like a Kegel then? Like doing that when you're riding?
Mm-hmm. And it's really like an art to it, because you got to get the hip movement down, like your stroke down, before you try to Kegel, because what you're going to be doing is closing or like contracting around the dick. And then, you're still going to be stroking. And then there's times where you just like release. And if you have control over it, you can actually like contract and release at the same time. Oh, wow. So it's really a mastery thing where you would have to practice. And I would say practicing in missionary position or in any other position, missionary specifically, because when you're lying on your back, I feel like you have a lot of like more control over your Kegel process. Mm-hmm. And so if you practice just like contracting and releasing while your partner's doing the stroking, then when you get on top, then you'll have like a better command over it. Mm-hmm. And you just play around with it. And so then it becomes fun at that point. But it's literally like a double stroke, because the muscles around your vagina are like doing the thing to like stroke. And then your hips are actually moving and you're feeling the entire vaginal canal. So I always like to say that's a secret move. That's that Assassin's Creed.
The Assassin's
Cardi B said it in WAP. Cardi B said it in WAP.
Really?
She said, climb on top. I want to ride. I do a Kegel when it's inside.
That's
I was like,
so
she's
true.
she's giving away my secret.
That's mine.
Cardi totally stole that from you, and we're going to put it out there right now. Yeah. She stole that from Tyomi.
But no, it's like literally a trade secret of all dick assassins. Like, we know you get on top, and if you add that Kegel in, it's a wrap. Like, you can't, it's the game. And the moment that I love when I'm putting these moves on guys, because like they're like, oh, so this is what you teach in your class? I'm like, don't do that, first of all. Secondly, yes. I'm like, oh my God, Assassin's Creed. Yeah, okay, I'm going to finish you right now. And so the whimper that I experience that just like escapes their bodies because they are completely overtaken by my prowess in this. They're like, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. You asked for it, and now you're done.
Now you're done. I run this shit. You're
me. I'm the captain. I am the captain now, not you.
Oh my God, the whimper. I fucking love it. Oh my God, I'm dying. That's hilarious.
And like, in their eyes, it's so funny because like in their eyes, I see the disbelief. They're like, I can't believe this girl is fucking dominating me right now, And they try to hold it in. But I just keep going, and they're like, wait.
And when you try and hold something in, it comes out way weirder than it would have if you just let it come out. So it's like, oh, sounds so much more sad. Just like,
So much more helpless.
I win.
Oh my
Bitch.
God. I fucking love that. It's like, just fucking
And the
watch me.
aftercare, it's hilarious. Like afterwards, just kind of like,
Hold me.
so I wish I could give a testimonial because you're the truth. And I'm like,
I know.
that's why I do what I do. So I get paid the big bucks.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I love that so much.
Y'all got me over here like sweating too. Like.
Well, let's get into that. Actually, speaking of sweat, because for moi and Emma, we
Oh my
talked about
God.
this last night. It's easy to get tired, easy
Yeah.
to get
Yep.
sweaty,
I'm the
and then I
swampiest
don't
monster.
feel super good
Yeah.
about myself when I'm up there, and
Yeah.
I'm a little swamp monster.
Yeah. So how do we how to feel and look confident when, a whole bunch of shit is going on? Like
A lot of going on.
Yeah. So tips for that would be divine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to say this, like, you know your body better than anyone, and you know how long it takes for you to be active before you start dripping sweat.
Right.
You know,
Not long.
I tell
Not
my
long.
clients, right, exactly. Like I'm sweating under my arms right now.
Oh my God,
you know?
yeah.
So I'm like, it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
And I tell my clients all the time, like, bring everything into the bedroom to feel ready and to feel confident. So if that means you bring a towel to wipe yourself down or to have your partner wipe you down, like, look, this is a sport. Okay. And pleasure is a team sport. So whatever you need, have no shame of bringing it in. Bring in your sweat rag, bring in your water, because you're going to get parched, because at some point you're going to start breathing through your mouth and your mouth is going to get dry. And I feel like sometimes there's a correlation between the mouth and your vagina, right? Like once your mouth starts getting dry, your vagina's like, what we doing?
Yeah.
What we doing then?
Right.
We're going.
Are we going dry? We going dry?
I need a little something.
So you have your water there, you have your lube there, because you don't want to get on top when you're not like fully aroused, when your erectile tissue isn't fully engorged, because you're not going to feel it as well. And it may be a little painful, and then you want to be well lubricated. And if your vagina on this day is just like, nah, I'm not budging, lubricant. No shame in that. I advocate for lube and personal moisturizers consistently, because I'm like, if you want to extend your pleasure, like just squirt, keep it moving. You know what I mean? Sometimes wops get dry. I got a wop, and depending on what's happening in a week or a month or whatever, like if I'm on some kind of meds or if I feel stressed or whatever, or even if she's so sensitive, if the ceiling fan is blowing, okay, like all that extra air, she's going to dry out. So I'm like, all right, lubricants right here. And then also like remembering that this isn't a performance, you don't have to look a certain way. And it's all about, am I connected? And so I like to say, before you even get into the ride, like penetrate yourself and just kind of feel your partner inside of you and just connect. You could place a hand on the chest or like over your heart and just connect eye to eye and just kind of breathe together a little bit, and then go into your movements. And also ask your partner for assistance. Look, I hate when they just like want to sit back like, yeah, it's my time off.
No, it ain't.
No, it's not. Exactly. This is not a vacation, okay? I'm going to need you to help me out here. And so sometimes getting into the rhythm of it is the thing that kind of makes us feel awkward. So the beauty is like meeting your partner's stroke. So if your partner is stroking back while you're on top, once you can get into that good rhythm to stroke together, then it's like, all right, cool, I got it. And then also being unafraid to sweat. You're going to sweat. Like it's literally your body's form of an air conditioner. Once you overheat, your body's like, let's perspire. So then you can cool down a little bit. I personally like the sweat because I'm like, yeah, I'm working this dick.
Take it as a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the stamina piece, like getting tired is definitely going to happen if you don't control your breathing. So that's one of the pillars of the Cowgirl Workout, is building stamina. And I build the stamina through doing repetitious movement and encouraging you to breathe and control your breathing and being conscious of your breathing as we go throughout the movements. And so we'll do like 100 repetitions of the same movement over and over and over again. And then I'm displaying how to breathe through that. So you'll hear me like throughout the workout breathing through my nose and exhaling through my mouth, because that's helping me to not only slow my heart rate down, but it's sending oxygen to that part of my body that's like screaming, help!
Yeah.
Help!
Please take me out.
Send assistance.
Yeah. Sub. I need it.
So I'm sending
Celeb
oxygen as assistance to, extend the ride. And so over time, just practicing those moves with the breathing, you extend your ability to stay in it longer and longer and longer. Like I've had clients say, this one client, like I literally fell out and I started crying when she said this. She said, I am 50 years old and my husband told me I'm having sex like a 25-year-old.
Fuck.
And I was like, that did it for me. Because, when you create something, right, as an artiste, sexual artiste, you create something and you don't know if it's landing, right? The way that you hope that it does. And when you hear people say things like that, I just helped you reverse the clock. So it completely obliterates this idea that if you're 50 plus, that you can't be out here fucking, you can't be out here having sex because your body can't keep up. And I'm like, all you have to do is just get moving.
So basically you create life, you revive marriages. You're God.
Oh my God. You are God.
So that's wonderful.
I always say that, first of all, I definitely identify as a goddess. And I always say I'm doing the Lord's work,
Yes.
Because think about it. Like, I've had women coming to me in tears, you guys, like in tears, because they're on the brink of like their relationship possibly completely dismantling because they don't know how to take control of their pleasure for themselves and then be able to share in that with their partners. And they're like, I don't know what to do. Please help me. Or it's like, single ladies who are like, yeah, I don't have someone yet, but I want to be prepared. And so one of my clients recently said that she is now engaged because of the Cowgirl Workout. And I was like, So yeah, this is God's work. And I just feel like it's bringing people back to who they are and their core and helping them just feel empowered to flex their sexual autonomy. And that's what I'm all about. I'm like, if I can enlighten you and empower you and just make you feel good about exploring even something that you feel uncomfortable with, then I've done my job.
Right. Absolutely. That's so beautiful. And I love that story of the woman that like now you're having sex like a 25-year-old. It's just like sex is so ageless. And I want to be old and having amazing sex. Like I want to still own that, it's just like, that's beautiful. And I love that people can find that confidence through the Cowgirl Workout. And then you also said something when you were talking about, syncing up the strokes and stuff, how you're kind of meeting in the middle. So I have a clarifying question.
Yes.
In one of your videos, you talked about how like you're supposed to kind of meet in the middle. So that's not it's not wrong to bump it, right? Like that's like a good meeting point. You're not supposed to always be like going this way like this. It's like you can meet and ricochet.
Yeah.
And that's how you get a good stroke.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Because
Okay.
if you try to like go one way or the other, you're not meeting in the middle. So meeting in the middle is literally both pelvises coming together to meet that point and then coming apart.
Okay.
So that creates the stroke for both people to enjoy in it. When it's just one way, then it's one person really having more control. And that's okay. It's like, because there will be moments where your partner may not stroke back and you're doing most of the stroking. But when you meet in the middle, not only does it reduce how much power you have to put out, but your power output. It also,
my voltage.
But it just feels better. And so, yeah, if you end up bumping it, that's completely fine. As long as your pelvises aren't like cracking, smashing.
Thunder.
Right. You got to have some control over it. It's just like when you throw your ass back. You know what I mean? When you throw your ass back, you're literally meeting
as much
your
as
partner's pelvis. And then that clapping sound that happens is that impact. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah. So because like the whole time I was always like, oh God, we're off sync because we're doing this. But that's good to know that's like, I was like, but why does it kind of flow better? But I always thought I was still off, you know?
It's so weird. I'm so glad you asked that question. That's
Thank
something
you.
I've really, you're welcome. Because like it is, I would say Cowgirl's probably my favorite position. But there are times when I'm doing it where I'm like, this just feels off, and it's the rhythm. Like I didn't have the words for it, but it's literally just the rhythm, and I would like try and make it so we were going at the same time in the same
Like a
direction, and
jellyfish
I'm like, this feels like nothing.
Yeah.
And so, but then I'm like, but it doesn't make sense for us to meet in the middle. But yes, it does, because that's literally what's like intuitive.
Yeah.
And it just feels better.
That's how you keep like creating the space in the stroke, like Tyomi's saying.
Yeah.
So I'm learning already.
I'm
I'm a quick learner.
That's what I say. Like, I'm not here to say, no, that's wrong. I'm like,
Right.
yes, add on what you already know and kind of tweak some things to make it feel better. Because again, like, your partner could totally just lie there and you could be doing all the stroking, but you're going to feel fucking tired very quickly because they're not meeting you in the middle. And so that's why I say, like, this is a team sport, which I will say this. I'm also teaching you how to stroke from the bottom too, because now you're not just going to lie there when your partner is in, you're in missionary or your partner is taking over the stroke. Now you can meet, you know how to meet in the middle because you know how to move your hips. So it's really like all the way around. The Cowgirl Workout teaches women how to just be more active in sex. It's okay to be a pillow princess sometimes, you know what I mean? And if you want to like change up the stimulation of the stroke, in a certain position, like positions can become brand new when you just like shift your hips a little bit, or you move your hips towards your partner, or you shift your leg positioning. Like people give missionary so much shit. And I'm like, yeah, missionary is great. Like missionary is great if you're stroking back and like you're really being active in it and switching up like the positions of your legs and stuff. So yeah, I mean, meeting in the middle is where it's at.
Well, this is something we were talking about as well. I guess it's kind of like moving backward, but in reverse.
Oh yeah, that's where I was going to go next. Okay.
Your butthole. Are they staring at your butthole? And
and if they are, how can I get that to not happen?
Or how can I work through those feelings?
Yeah, I would like it to not happen.
We were talking about maybe getting a big gem. Just
like one of those.
I guess you could be a butt plug. For some reason in my head, I'm like, you'd glue a gem there.
Yeah.
But that's just not what you do.
Your butt cheeks would like go around it. It would just look so awkward.
Or would it look special?
I mean, who knows?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? I'm not behind you. So.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Well,
you go.
I guess it really depends on the size of your booty, right? Because
God damn it.
So they see my butthole.
So they'll see my butthole, is what you're saying.
if you have like bigger cheeks, the cheeks are just covering the booty hole, so you don't really see it. They see the vagina more than anything. But if you have a smaller booty and then your cheeks spread apart, like once you kind of bend it over, then I'll probably see your anus too. But I'm going to tell you something. That doesn't turn them off. Like if anything, it's a turn on because they see like another area of access, even if they're the kind of person that is not into anal. You know what I mean? Just being able to see it visually. It's stimulating,
like I could go in there.
And so,
I'm not going to.
Yeah, it would scare me if somebody was like, "Oh, another access point." That'd be, that would throw off my rhythm and my stroke for sure.
you're sticking fingers in booty holes without permission, people. Don't be doing that.
PSA.
Oh my God. Well,
but I would say your idea about the butt plug is a good one though, because if you are into DP, like double penetration, that's a way to experience that without having to bring in another penis. And also it feels really good for you because it's pressing through to the vaginal canal too. So it like kind of narrows things and your partner can feel it as well in the stroke. So, and it's visually appealing. Like who really expects to see like a gem or a foxtail or whatever, like coming out of your booty hole when you bend over, it's like, ooh, a nice surprise. It's like when you open up a box of cereal and it has a special prize inside. That's what that's like.
You are the cereal. You are the box.
I am the Lucky Charms, bitches.
Magically delicious.
Magically delicious. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad you brought up reverse because that is literally one of the scariest positions that like it took me so long to try. Mainly because of my butt hole. But also the rhythm itself feels different. So is there a different position to make that like reverse more accessible or less intimidating? Like, is there like a go-to that you could jump right into to make that position like, oh, I can fucking do this?
Yeah, I would say definitely like if you use the chair, because that's still reverse. It's just that your partner's not lying down, and in using the chair or the couch, your booty hole's not exposed.
They don't see
that's
the
so
butthole.
true.
So, you know, it doesn't always have to happen in the bed, you know, and I feel like when you do it in reverse, when you're sitting in a chair or at the edge of the bed, if your bed's low enough to like touch the ground, or if you do it on the couch, then it gives you more control because you can use your partner's legs as a post. And it gives you more control over like being able to like move your hips and everything, and they don't see your face, they just see your back, and they can also like rub on your back, and like if you're into like neck play and stuff, they can like come up to the back of your neck and squeeze, and there's just so many delicious things. Come around, grab your titties, like so many delicious things that can happen. And it's a better angle for us because the way that the penis just like enters into the vaginal canal, because your hips are not now like at a perpendicular. So now it's like this. So now you're fitting into each other in a way that really is going to create some nice juicy ass penetration. Like, oh, I love it.
Yeah. So is there, maybe this is not a question for you, is there any position that like hurts? Because I feel like sometimes reverse can hurt the penis haver. You know? And
Yes.
And like I've been told that by a partner where it's like, ah, too far.
I've even for regular, I've gone on, I don't know if I went on at the wrong angle, but he was like, ow!
Yeah.
And I also saw an article that you, I think, wrote about penis fractures. So I would love to just like...
Yeah, just kind of engulf that a little bit.
Let's dive in.
I love that you brought that up, because when I talk about reverse, I always give a disclaimer, because you're basically... most of the time, like the penis is, if he's lying down, it's going to be like facing him, right? But then when you come in reverse, then you're pulling it back and you're pulling it down, and it's an erect penis. So when it's flaccid, like when it's hanging down, it's fine. But when those tissues become filled with blood, now it's a little stiffer. And so you do have to be cautious when you're penetrating yourself. I always tell my clients, like, before you start stroking, do like an establishing stroke, which is pretty much you just kind of like pushing your hips back onto it to see how it feels, to get a survey of the land, and also see how it feels.
Just making sure I'm surveying the land.
Look your surroundings.
Right, you gotta survey it, you know, because you want to make sure that before you start doing whatever move is your like signature move, that it's not hurting him, that it's not bending him in a way that could cause a fracture, and also that it's comfortable for you. So yes, there are certain positions with this that can feel uncomfortable. And for women who have like cervical trauma, or they feel very sensitive at their cervix, that deep penetration, especially if your partner is like trying to push you down onto them, that can be painful. And so that's why I always say you're in control. Make sure you control the depth, so that way you're not having your cervix rammed into if it's uncomfortable for you. You know what I mean? So just being mindful of that, like practicing mindfulness and not just trying to do the thing. You know, it's like, okay, take your time, be aware. You don't have to rush through this. The erection will still be there sometimes, because sometimes some guys get a little intimidated. They don't want to be dominated. And that's the beauty of having a partner that by the penis, it's like, it stays hard, you know? But for men who own penises naturally, or people who own penises naturally, sometimes they can get in their heads, or they may feel triggered from a past experience where somebody got into this particular move and it was painful. So men don't always talk about when they experience pain or fractures or anything like that, because it's just not really in their nature to do, from like, masculine programming or whatever. But this is where the check-in always comes in handy. It's like, once you get into reverse and you get in that position, you ask, are you comfortable? Is this okay for you? Because again, it's not just about you receiving pleasure. It's about you both receiving it together in this. But you're just the person that's the captain of where this, this ship is going. So,
and you definitely have to check in with somebody before you assassinate their dick. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's good to just be like, hey,
how are you?
I'm here. I want to make sure you're good. Yeah. Here we go.
Right. No, totally.
Exactly.
Hold on tight.
And now hold on tight. So we're about to rock your fucking world. I love it.
2 other issues I've run into, we'll say. Slippage. So when it slips out, I guess that's another point at which you could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Because
you come down more bentish.
Yeah. So is there a way to prevent it from slipping out? Do I just is that the squid part where I just hold on tight?
Yes, don't. Yes.
Not today.
It just takes the whole thing. Also, it can kind of be a weird mood kill if it keeps happening too.
It's like, what am I doing?
So am I extra, am I just going too far? Am I exerting myself too much? If it's
too much voltage,
too much power voltage?
It's a few things. That could be your energy is so strong and you're dominating so much that he's losing. He's feeling intimidated and he's feeling anxious. And now the erection is becoming less and less. Okay. So the blood is going to his heart and brain because he's freaking out internally and he's not saying anything, but all the alarms are going off, right? Because he's never been in this position. And that's so common. It happens. And when you feel the erection going down and it's just getting soft and it's not really staying in, then that's a time to take a break, because he could be overheated. When guys get hot, the erection is just all right, shutting down. So
this is too much.
I'm scared.
It's too much. So fanning him or giving him some water. And this is why I literally have all these things ready. If I know I'm with a partner where I'm going to be getting it in, I'm all right, I got all the things to make sure that we can extend this. And then sometimes you could be extremely wet, where it just keeps slipping out. And so with that, it's if you have your towel, you just kind of
just one quick swipe.
Exactly. And then sometimes it's that the hips are literally coming too far off of it. Mm-hmm. So you never want to come all the way off the dick. You want it to stay inside. So you want the head at least to stay inside. I'm going to bring out my friend.
Yes, please.
Here.
Ooh, there he is.
That's a friend.
That's a big friend.
Yeah.
Does it have a name?
King Noir. This is King Noir. This is an actual mold of a real person's dick.
Stop it. I love it.
The adult star, Jesus. King Noir, this is his dick. And I just treat it like a king because it is. King anyway.
It's huge.
So, you always want at least this much staying inside, which is great because if you come off of it, right, and you're coming towards the opening of your vagina, this ridge here, the corona ridge is designed to pull moisture down and to also create a little seal to keep moisture in. So to prevent drying out, instead of coming off of it and trying to come back on, which is very dangerous because you can miss the opening, then you just come all the way up here and you can feel the ridge. Now, some ridges are more pronounced than others. Some are just kind of flat. So just be mindful, okay, keep at least 2 inches in and then go back down on it. So you're not coming all the way off. That's why I say you only need a good 1 to 3 inches of space between your pelvis because you want to keep some of the dick inside. And this is why Cowgirl Position will get you pregnant. Okay.
This is why you make babies. Keep going.
Because the dick is like so close to the cervix and there's no running. Like you can't run.
Oh.
They can't pull out
Nowhere to hide.
unless you jump off.
That's
If
like
you
quick
jump.
off, like literally a jump off, because you can feel when he's about to come. Like you can literally feel the little tingles. As soon as you feel that, it's like, all right, I'm gonna be out.
Peace. Just dive. Tuck and roll. I guess depends on where you are. So that's another thing to strategize, I guess, before you go in. Just know your exit plan.
No.
Emma likes to know her exits.
My exit route. Well, my mom always told me, if I'm staying somewhere, I should know how to escape if there's a fire.
So same with sex. If you're staying somewhere, you should know how to escape.
I should know how to
having
escape.
babies.
Just remember that I told you this, and don't be like, Tyomi, you got me pregnant. So I told you,
Have an escape route.
have an escape route. You need to.
Oh my God. I love it.
My
Go ahead.
last kind of question, and obviously this, I'm hoping, well, from what you've said, I know that joining the Cowgirl Workout will help with this. So I'm
Oh my
very
God,
excited in so many ways. But when I'm up there and I get a cramp in my groin. What do I do in the moment? Because so I've fought through it. I've rolled off. I've gotten sweatier out of the pain. What is the right thing to do in that situation?
That's a good question.
Whatever feels right to your body. So if you're one that can like move through it and you keep riding because you know that it's going to like work itself out, then just give yourself some extra oxygen. So breathe more deeply and just like slow the movements down, just kind of work through it. If you're like me, I get taken out by cramps. So I just tuck and roll off and then I ask my partner to like massage it out for me because it's like paralyzing. Like I look crazy, y'all. It's like,
Just whole body, rigid.
yes, my entire body goes into like low key rigor mortis, and I'm like, all right, I'm done here.
I look like I'm dying because I am.
Well, I like that though.
am.
That's like very direct. It's like, of course that's going to happen. Just like massage it out. Get over it. Like don't
drink the water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You caused
And I would
this.
say too, stretch before sex.
Yes.
I can't stress that enough. Like every Friday in the Cowgirl Workout is dedicated to flexibility. So we only stretch on Fridays. After each workout, I do a little cool down stretch, but stretching is so important because it prevents your muscles from like tightening up and like locking up on you and being hydrated. So make sure you're drinking a lot of water. And, you got your electrolyte. Hey, have some Gatorade by the bed. I'm just saying. Like,
stretching is such a good thing to bring up. And to jump to one of my last questions as well. In one of your videos, you talked about practicing like the motions and like you had a couple good movements for doing these positions. So it's like the tuck and roll for the booty. And the booty bounce, right? Is that word?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
just like what do you do when you're up there, I guess? Like
Yeah.
like are those moves for once you're up there and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So I literally have, and I think I'll probably change the names by now, but I've like pinpointed 8 different strokes that you can do. So there's one I call like the traditional stroke where your hips come up and then you push down like through your quads and then you push down with the hips. And then you just roll it back up. So it's like a hip roll, like that, right? And then there's one, it's like a push back or a roll back. So you're pushing your hips back and you're curving your hips and you're like scooping the hips so that the dick hits the front wall and also the back wall. So then you can get like that nice G-spot stimulation going. Because I noticed in my classes, like when I'll teach like the front scoop, which is another one, some women will be doing it the opposite way. And I'm like, that actually works too. So keep doing that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right. And then there's like a scoop forward where the hips are being curled in towards your belly button and you're just scooping the dick forward. And then there's like a throw down where, and all of these movements originate from your tailbone because your tailbone gives your hips that hinge, so that like the throw down is just your hips, you're just pushing them down. Like this. And then you can do circles on the dick. So you can circle to the left, circle to the right. And all of these moves can be done in different speeds. You can take it slow, medium, or fast. So like the booty bounce is really like a fast, quick stroke that requires a little bit of leverage of your weight. And I think it's a lot easier to practice the booty bounce when you could do it in a chair, or if your partner is lying on the edge of the bed and your feet are on the floor. Mm-hmm. If your pelvis is matched the height of the bed, right? It's easier to do the booty bounce because you have like more control and you don't have to be in that like super hyper extended straddle. But everybody's body is different and like what they're able to do and what feels comfortable to them. But those are pretty much like the strokes that I've established. Oh, and then like being in the crab as well. Mm-hmm. Because in the crab, your hips are like scooting forward. And so in my masterclass, I do the breakdown of all those moves. I usually, because in the pandemic, I didn't have a partner, but usually I do it with like a unicorn as my partner just to show the hip movement. But I have a class coming up that's sold out where I'm probably going to have a male partner just because I want to switch it up and I want to like show what it looks like with an actual body there. And I'm teaching a men's class too on stroke. So I'll have a female.
My fiance is signed up for it.
Yes, fiance. That's what I'm talking about.
I signed him up last night. I'm like, you're doing this.
Oh, my God,
he's excited.
So fucking awesome.
So yeah, I just in paying attention to like when I was looking at and doing my research and watching porn and seeing how girls do their thing, and then in just feeling into my body when I'm on top and what works and what doesn't, I was like, okay, these are the moves. And so we basically practice those moves with our hips over and over and over again. So that way your body develops that muscle memory, and then you get on top and it's like, okay, I got it. And then it's just a matter of, again, adjusting and making sure that you're in the right position that works for your body, because some people have extremely tight hip flexors. And being in that traditional straddling position, especially if your partner's a larger person, like that might not be as comfortable as sitting them up at the head of the bed and then like straddling them that way, or sitting them on the couch or in the chair. So just play with it. And I always say, like, experiment with the positions and the hip movements before going into sex, because if you're the kind of person that feels anxiety around like, performance and feel like you have to get it right and it has to be perfect, then don't choose the actual sexual experience as the time to play around with it. You're going to shift when you're having sex, but it's completely different when you're trying to figure it out. So figure it out with clothes on, turn it into a little sexy, fun game of like sexy adult yoga or wrestling or whatever you want to call it. And then afterwards, you would take your clothes off and try it and see what's up.
Fuck yes.
I love it.
I love that last line. That's it. Take your clothes off and see what happens. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. Those are like all my questions.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
So
I'm so excited. Well, now we've gotten so much great information, but we've reached the final part in our episode where we like to do homework for honeys, where we talk about one actionable step that we can all take to start incorporating what we talked about today. So Tyomi, would you assign homework for all of the honeys for this week?
Yes. Highly suggest that you do this one thing. So get your hips activated, is get in touch with your tailbone. So I want you to, I would say, try to do this 3 to 4 times in a week and just practice this for 5 minutes in the mirror. And you want to stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, and you want your knees to be loose. So you don't want to lock your knees. Okay. And you want to make sure that your weight is positioned in your heels. So if you have to hold on to something like a desk or a chair or whatever, completely do that. And then you want to locate your tailbone. So your tailbone is literally situated right at the base of your spine. And you can find the very tippity tip of it where your booty cheeks separate or come together, whichever way you want to do it. And so if you just put your hand there on that spot, then boom, you're already connected to your tailbone. And so you want to push your pelvis in through the tailbone, pushing it forward like you're trying to touch your pubic bone to your belly button. And everything is going to basically like come in and scrunch up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to pull up on it, like you're trying to touch your booty to your back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just want to do a few of these pelvic tilts with your hand in place for like maybe 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 full rotation is 10. So this coming in and then pulling up, that's 1. And then you want to take your hand off and now just push through and then pull up without the assistance. So I
Hands-free.
call that a pelvic activation because a lot of women, once they do that, they're like, wait a minute, my lower back, it's kind of burning, kind of hurts a little bit. I'm like, we're waking that area up. Congratulations. Welcome.
It's good to know that's normal, the burning. Thanks for that.
I love it. That's perfect. That's such
Yeah.
a great way to drop immediately into your like pelvic region and like just focus on that isolation. I love it.
Oh,
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm so excited. Can you please tell our listeners where to continue connecting with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. That's at Real Glamazon Tyomi. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/glamerotica101. You can also find me on my blog site, glamerotica101.com, Twitter at Glamazon Tyomi. And if you want to join the Cowgirl Workout Tribe, we are here for you. It's members.thecowgirlworkout.com. We were featured in Cosmopolitan on cosmopolitan.com. We also were featured on XO Nicole. So if you type in the Cowgirl Workout, literally the first things that will pop up is the Cosmo article in our tribe. So if you forget that, and definitely like my YouTube channel has those free videos for you to take advantage of just so you can see, where you start.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, don't allow your size to be the reason why. If you have the motivation and the determination to get this right for yourself so you can experience more pleasure, then don't allow the idea of what your size is to be an impediment. If you have a body that can move, and even if you've had pelvic injuries or like knee injuries, you know your body better than anyone. And I have modifications for the workouts to assist you as well with a fitness ball so that you don't have to get on your knees. So just, come through. We got you. Like, we're here for you. We want you to improve in this area. And, just reach out to me. I'm here to help.
Oh, I love it.
Tyomi, we love you so much.
I have a clarifying question. So do
Yes.
people need to take the masterclass before signing up for the Cowgirl Workout subscription? Do you recommend starting with one first, or is it okay to just start with a subscription?
So I would say the masterclass is that heavy breakdown of the do's and don'ts, the common issues and solutions for them. And then it's a breakdown of all the moves. And so the masterclass sets the tone for the tribe because we're practicing what I teach in the masterclass. And what I'm offering now going forward is if you do sign up for one of my masterclasses, then you get a 1 month free subscription to the Cowgirl Tribe, just so that you can see what it's about, you can see what we do there, and also so you can continue to practice. And then the masterclasses are also uploaded to the tribe.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah, and in the tribe you get discounts to other programs and things. I love it because you get so much value from just it's a community. It's not just the cowgirl stuff. It's the cowgirl stuff plus so much more. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so grateful that you ladies went in depth about this, because I realized I was oh shit, wait a minute. People know I teach this class, but I haven't really been talking about what's happening in the tribe. And I'm spending a lot of my time there on a daily basis, interacting with people and just putting the uploads up and stuff. So, if you want to be a part of an interactive community where women all have the same goal and are going to encourage you to be your very best, then it's definitely for you. And there are sisters from all over the world that are a part of this tribe. And I'm just so proud of it. And it's growing every day. So if you want to take the masterclass, that's great. It's great value because you get that 1 month free. And if you want to jump into the tribe already, that's cool too, because the masterclass is going to be uploaded there anyway. So it's a win-win either way.
All right.
Oh, God.
No, it was good. It was not cringy. Don't cringe.
I wasn't.
That was my
filled with joy.
my Western accent to close out this episode and to thank Tyomi so much for being on the podcast today. Literally just so honored to have been able to talk to you about a topic that we just had so many questions about.
Yeah.
And it was such an educational conversation, to be honest.
And we've both signed up for the
Cowgirl Workout. Yeah.
So we're
are.
having a great time getting our workout on, getting better at sex every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And thank you so much to our listeners for tuning in.
And if you have a few minutes, head over to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe to Honey Do Me. When you leave us a review, it lets us know what you think. As long as it's positive, we want it. So
We want it. Yep. So let me know.
So let us know how we're doing and sign up for Cowgirl Workout Tribe with us because
yeah.
we're all going to be in there and just having a good time.
Loosen those hips. Getting ready to ride.
Yeah. Ride that dick.
Dick assassin.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was for.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.